A driver acquires habits, number one. These habits could be either high risk or low risk.
I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to break the law today. They just get behind the wheel and they just get relaxed.
If you're in a car by yourself, it's easy to get in a hurry, and it's easy not to be courteous if you don't have to talk to someone face to face.
And see, once this permeates our traffic, we're all in trouble. If you don't mind and the peer pressure of the other drivers out there doesn't affect you, wow, we've got chaos.
We have a great system in place for accommodating everyone. Red lights, green lights, on-ramps, off-ramps. The way our roadways are designed, they'll accommodate all of us if we all make a conscious effort to obey the rules of the roads. Otherwise, those same shortcuts that we may take, other drivers are taking as well, and that contributes to the gridlock.
When we get in our car, we're a little bit selfish. And we get out there and we say, well, I have to go someplace, not realizing and not giving the benefit to the other drivers that have to be someplace too. I would like to see everybody be a cooperative driver. And we work as a team then. You know, you take a basketball team or a football team, any individual can go out there and be the star. But in order to make the team really work good, everybody has to work together. They have to cooperate.
You let people in and you're still going to keep moving forward. I've just made life a little bit easier for my fellow driver. He has his turn signal on. Come on in front of me. What's that going to cost me? A second of time? But it's going to make a difference for him because all of a sudden somebody's nice to him, lowers his blood pressure, there's less rage on the road.
So if you had a chance to give somebody a $20 bill that really needed it, would that make you feel good? Well, we have the opportunity to really help people out by being courteous. It's like giving them this $20 bill, except that we still got our $20 bill, so it's not costing us anything, and it's making us feel a lot better just to be courteous to someone. It's a gift that we really give ourselves and help somebody else out.
Courtesy is contagious. And if you are courteous to somebody else out on the highway, they'll remember that and be courteous to another person. And if we could get that permeate throughout society, and everybody was driving courteous on the highway, we wouldn't need the traffic laws that we have.
Many of us can say, I've never had an accident before and I've been driving this way for years, so it must be fine. But for some of us, the reason we haven't had an accident is just a matter of chance. We haven't been in that situation where we've had to react or take defensive action or evasive action. Because we've been doing something for years and it hasn't met with catastrophic results, doesn't mean that it's a good driving habit.
There's always risk out there. You never drive one moment without being exposed to risk. Most crashes have at least 9, 10 risk factors that combine. These risk factors are very, very minor things. Perhaps a driver driving a few miles an hour too fast, driver having low tire pressure, a driver approaching a curve, left curve in the road, maybe a downgrade, but there's no consequences because the elements did not combine at that time. So a driver going into a curve too fast could get away with it 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 20 years. And then all of a sudden they hit a patch of sand going into that curve. And all of these factors now are going to contribute to that particular collision. So we never know all of the risk factors working against us. That's why drivers need to know how they could develop habits that are going to give them that risk management capabilities. We can't do anything about all the other drivers out there, but we could do something about ourselves. And that is to empower ourselves with some pretty good habits.
So when I get into the car, I just remind myself of habits that I have. One of the habits that was real hard for me to break was tailgating. I just forget that I'm tailgating. I'm in a hurry, the car's not moving fast enough in front of me, and I get up there.
Probably the single best thing you can do is give yourself enough space between you and the car in front of you to assume they're not going to do the right thing, and make sure you have some place to go, make sure you have enough room, enough space to stop without hitting the car in front of you, enough space to slow down gradually before you stop so you don't get rear-ended by the car behind you. If you're too close behind a vehicle ahead of you, you may not see an object in the roadway that that driver sees and is planning on reacting to when they get to a spot where they can actually change lanes to go around it. And now you're there and this hazard's directly in front of you, and you haven't seen it, and you don't have enough time to react to it because you couldn't see around that vehicle in front of you. So you want to make sure that you always think to yourself when you're driving, do I have enough time to safely slow and stop if a hazard were to suddenly appear in front of me?
That's like money in the bank. It's a gift you give yourself. If you keep that space, you're so much more relaxed. You're able to isolate yourself from the high stress that other drivers could generate when they stop fast and you have to react to it.
One of the real big problems I believe that people have on the road is they're very short-sighted. They're looking right in front of their car instead of looking 2 to 3 blocks down the road. When you're looking right in front of you, you're not seeing the big truck that's pulling out or things that are going on in front of you. People tend to just look straight ahead. That's why we have mirrors. You should be moving your eyes every 15 to 30 seconds. Sidewalk, mirror, front of you, mirror, sidewalk, so you get the big picture.
Basically, by looking out to your target area, we're seeing into our future. And if we could all see into the future, imagine the good decisions we could make. Imagine if you were to buy stocks and you could see into the future 10 seconds before that stock is being traded, and you know exactly what it's going to do before you make that investment. Well, it's the same thing when we're looking out into our target area. We're seeing into our future. We're seeing into the future space we need to occupy 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds ahead of time. That's going to make us a winner.
We have visibility. We have to control our visibility, our time, and our space. When you put yourself in the other person's blind spot, you're putting yourself at risk. If they have to suddenly make a movement and they have to swerve either left or right, you happen to be in their blind spot, they're going to hit you. It's not because they want to hit you, it's because they have reacted to some other type of a hazard. If you could just move your car back a little bit or move your car forward a little bit.
If you're driving near a larger vehicle and you have an accident with them, chances are they're going to come out better than you are. So to avoid being in that situation, drivers of passenger cars have to understand that the drivers of those larger vehicles can't always see around their vehicles. So as a general rule, I usually will stay just behind them if I'm overtaking and passing a larger vehicle until there's enough space in front of me in my lane to allow me to pass that vehicle without driving next to it for miles at a time.
I've been in the trucking business for 25 years. We drive for a living and safety is our priority. But our biggest concern is the visibility around our big rigs when we're on the highways sharing them with cars. Let me take you up in the cab and show you what I'm talking about. Now we're sitting behind the wheel in the normal driving position as a driver would sit going down the highway. And you need to keep one thing in mind. The truck driver sits about 6 feet higher off the ground than you do in your automobile, and he has a panoramic view and can see for miles, and he can see across the top of traffic. Now drivers are taught, and they practice, to look in their mirrors every 5 seconds. So I'm going to look in my left mirror, and I see it's clear. I can make a left-hand lane change. I look back across my panoramic view, everything's fine over there. I check my right mirror. Yes, it's clear also, so now I can make a right-hand lane change if I need to. Now that you've been in the cab and have seen what the driver can see, this is what the driver didn't see. Keep one rule of thumb in mind when you're traveling with big rigs on the highways. If you can't see the driver's face in this mirror, the driver cannot see your vehicle. These vehicles are also in the area known as the no zone. Behind the truck, there are 2 vehicles also in the no zone. If you are following a truck closer than 4 seconds, you're in the rear no zone. There's also a no zone in the front of the truck, an area where the driver cannot see the car in front of him. So when you're passing a big rig, don't cut back over from your lane change until you can see the full truck cab in the inside rear view mirror of your car.
Along those same lines, with larger vehicles, buses in particular, they have other hazards, and that is passengers getting on and off. That vehicle can be stopped somewhere along a curb, and whether or not they have the lights flashing on that bus, there's always a risk that someone is going to be crossing in front of or behind that bus, and they may not be paying attention to passing traffic, or they may assume the traffic is stopped.
Slow down. That's the biggest thing. Slow down. And again, assume that the pedestrian is going to step out in front of you. The law states they have the right of way. When I'm driving and I see pedestrians, I'm assuming that they know they have the right of way and that they're going to insist on it. So I drive a lot slower. Bicycles have to obey all the same laws we do. They have just as much right on the highways as we do. Bicycle riders are supposed to stay to the right, but there's times when they're going to have to be in my lane or over into the far left lane. I try to give them more distance than I do regular cars. Things can go wrong with bicycles. With cars, at least you have metal around you. With a bicycle, they're out there with nothing.